You don't chase what's already yours. You align with it. This is the foundation of divine law. When you understand the spiritual blueprint of your life, you stop the restless pursuit and instead begin to rest in faith. Manifestation is not pursuit, it's permission. Permission to receive what has already been prepared for you. Imagine a river flowing gently downstream. It does not strain or struggle. It simply flows, and everything it needs is drawn to it by the ease of its movement. You, too, are meant to move in harmony with what you desire. If you are chasing, you are declaring lack. But when you align, you are affirming abundance. So the question is not, how do I get it? The question is, how do I become it? You become it by believing it's already yours. That's the secret. That's the power. You don't have to push. You don't have to plead. You don't have to prove. You only have to permit. The divine knows what is yours. It's written, it's sealed, and no one can take what is divinely assigned to you. You must now match the vibration of that assignment. You must align your thoughts, your words, your emotions, and your expectations with the reality of already having it. Do not beg for your blessing. Bless it into being. Do not seek your miracle. Speak your miracle. The law of attraction does not respond to desperation. It responds to conviction. And conviction only comes when you know that what you seek is seeking you. This is not new. This is eternal truth. What is yours cannot miss you. What is not yours cannot stay. So let go of the chase. Let go of the fear. Let go of the striving. And return to the river. Return to the current. Return to the flow. For in the flow, you remember who you are. In the flow, you hear the whispers of the divine. In the flow, you realize you were never meant to force. You were meant to receive. Manifestation is not pursuit. It's permission. You've been taught to chase, to hustle, to force, to strive. But none of that is necessary when you understand who you are in the divine order. Your desires are not accidents. They are assignments. They were placed within you by the divine not to tease you, but to lead you back to your own truth. The truth that you are already whole. The truth that you are already enough. The truth that you are already connected to all that is. When you understand this, you stop trying to earn what can only be accepted. You don't plead for the sun to shine. You simply step into its light. And so it is with your blessings. They are already shining. The only question is are you standing in their light? Or are you still searching in the dark? You align by remembering. You align by resting in faith. You align by becoming the version of yourself who already holds the thing you want. That version of you already exists. And she's not far. She is simply on the other side of fear. She is already calm. She is already assured. She knows she doesn't chase. She attracts. Because she understands that energy does not lie. And the energy of alignment is unmistakable. You cannot trick the universe. You cannot fake belief. You must become the frequency of what you wish to receive. Not for show. Not for praise. But for peace. Peace is the sign that you've let go of the chase. Peace is the proof that you're in alignment. Peace is the presence of knowing. And when you know, you don't doubt. You don't waver. You declare. You respect. You open. And it is in that openness, that sacred surrender, that manifestation begins. Because manifestation is not a reward for hard work. It's a reflection of inner work. And that inner work begins with truth. Truth about who you are. Truth about what you deserve. Truth about how the universe really works. It's not effort that brings things in. It's alignment. You do not have to climb the mountain. You simply have to stop blocking the path. You do not have to chase the sun. You only need to open the curtain. The reason manifestation has felt hard is because you've been trying to force it into place. You've been pushing. You've been controlling. You've been micromanaging the divine. And in doing so, you've been resisting the very thing you want. Because fear cannot hold what faith receives. You must trade worry for worship. You must trade control for confidence. You must trade struggle for surrender. Because what you want is not hiding from you. It's waiting for you to see yourself clearly. To see that you were never separate from it. You were only separate from your belief in it. And that belief is everything. When you believe, you become. When you become, you receive. That is the loop. That is the law. And that is the life you were meant to live. Not one of grasping, but one of grace. Not one of chasing, but one of choosing. Not one of earning, but one of embodying. You embody the truth that you are worthy. You embody the truth that you are already blessed. You embody the truth that nothing that is yours can pass you by. Because you don't chase what's already yours. You align with it. There is a knowing that rests deeper than thought, beyond reason, untouched by logic. It is the knowing of the soul. It is the still, sacred voice within you that never shouts. It whispers, and it whispers only truth. This truth says what is meant for you is already making its way to you. You do not need to search for it in the noise. You need only to quiet yourself enough to hear its call. And you hear it by aligning. You align with ease, with joy, with trust. Alignment is the resting place of miracles. It is not passive. It is powerful. It is not lazy. It is faith in motion. You align by choosing to feel the end result before it ever arrives. You align by walking as if it's already here. That feeling of already having it. That is the magnetic pull that opens the gates of manifestation. When you stop chasing, you start attracting. When you stop striving, you start arriving. This is not about doing more. It is about believing deeper. The vibration of belief is what activates divine timing. It is what turns delay into destiny. The moment you release doubt, the current carries you. The moment you trust, the flow surrounds you. There is no force needed when faith leads. And every time you let go of control, you fall into grace. Grace is not earned, it's accepted. It's the evidence that you've stepped out of fear and into truth. And that truth is this: you already have access to everything you desire. Your role is not to chase it. Your role is to become the version of you that can hold it without trembling, without doubting, without shrinking. You don't chase what's already yours. You calibrate to it. You calibrate through gratitude. Gratitude is not just appreciation. It is alignment in action. It is the way you signal to the universe that you already see the blessing before it arrives. It is the thank you that pulls the future into the now. Speak it. Thank you for what is already mine. Thank you for what is on the way. Thank you for what I cannot yet see but know is coming. That thank you is not wishful thinking. It is a spiritual decree, and it transforms your energy from seeking to receiving. Gratitude softens resistance. A gratitude dissolves fear. Gratitude says, I know I'm not waiting for something to begin. I'm just aligning with what already is. Your alignment is your signal. It's your lighthouse. It's your vibration calling in all that matches you. Not through chase, through clarity. Not through noise, through knowing. So stop asking if it's coming. Start aligning with its arrival. Start speaking as if it's already yours. Start walking as if the door has already opened. Because the truth is, the door was never locked. It was only waiting for you to see that the key was always within you. You are the key. You are the gate. You are the opening. The universe is not responding to your desperation. It is responding to your embodiment. And when you embody the energy of worthiness, of peace, of faith, you become a magnet for the very things you used to chase. There's a loop we must remember. Belief creates alignment. Alignment activates flow. And flow brings what is already yours into your now. So pause, breathe, and realign. This moment, right now, is not missing anything. It is a gateway to all you desire, but only if you let it be. Only if you stop reaching outward and begin returning inward. You don't need more force. You need more faith. You don't need more proof. You need more peace. You don't need to chase. You need to align. Because alignment is the divine invitation, and the divine never ignores an open eye. The laws of the universe are not distant. They are alive in you. They are not out there somewhere. They are within your breath, your thoughts, your words, your heartbeat. You are not here to chase your destiny. You are here to remember it. Remember what you are. Remember what you carry. Remember that what is yours has always been coded into your spirit. You are not the beggar of blessings. You are the rightful receiver. The moment you let go of striving and drop into surrender, the path unfolds not with force but with favor. And favor is not random. It is attracted by resonance. So what are you resonating with? Are you resonating with lack or with love? Are you vibrating in fear or in faith? Are you looking for evidence of your alignment? Or are you being the evidence itself? Let this truth echo. You don't chase what's already yours. You align with it. You become it. You breathe like it, speak like it, think like it, walk like it. Not someday, but now. Not when it's convenient, but when it matters most. When you are doubting, when you feel uncertain, when it feels furthest away, that's when alignment counts the most. Because alignment is not conditional, it's constant. And it's your choice. You choose to align. You choose to embody. You choose to believe before the seeing, not after. This is the sacred loop. Belief leads to alignment. Alignment invites receiving. And receiving confirms belief. Again and again, round and round, deeper and deeper into trust. You were never meant to run toward your good. It is drawn to you like light to its source. But you must become still enough to let it find you. You must stop chasing long enough to be found. And you will be found, not by the world, but by what already belongs to you by divine law. This is not about hustle. This is about harmony. This is not about performance. This is about presence. When you become present, you become powerful. Why? Because all your power exists now. Not in the memory of the past. Not in the dream of the future. But in the vibration you hold in this very breath. That breath. That's where you align. That's where you call it in. Speak this in the silence of your soul. I no longer chase. I calibrate. I no longer beg. I become. I no longer worry. I worship. I no longer run after what is mine. I rise into it. This is the shift that changes everything. Because once you believe you are chosen, you stop competing. Once you believe you are worthy, you stop seeking proof. Once you believe it is already yours, you stop resisting its arrival. You let go. You open. You receive. This is not passive. This is power in its purest form. The power of non-resistance. The power of resting in your spiritual authority. And it is your authority. Not borrowed. Not earned. But born into you. You came here as enough. You don't have to do more to be more. You have to remember more. Remember who walks with you. Remember the divine agreement written in your spirit. What is for you cannot be taken. What is yours cannot miss you. And what you are seeking is also seeking you. Not with tension, but with ease. Not with panic, but with peace. Not with noise, but with knowing. So get still, not because stillness is passive, but because it's magnetic. You pull when you pause. You attract when you anchor. Loop again with Meg. You don't chase what's already yours. You align with it. You breathe it in. You bless it before it arrives. You trust before the evidence. You worship before the manifestation. This is the frequency of faith, and it is faith that moves mountains. But faith is not loud. It does not scream. It whispers through your decisions. It speaks through your energy. It shows up in how you speak to yourself in the dark. You may not see the full picture, but faith says,
"That's all right. I align anyway."
You may not feel fully ready, but alignment says, ready is a vibration, not a checklist. Step into that vibration now. You are not asking for something outside of you. You are awakening something within you. And that awakening opens every door you thought was locked. It removes every block you thought you had to break. What if you never had to force it? What if all you had to do was feel it? To hold it in your spirit first. To hold it so deeply that the universe has no choice but to mirror it back. Because that is the law. The world is your mirror. If you chase, it runs. If you trust, it rests. If you doubt, it hesitates. If you align, it delivers. So here's your sacred reminder: you do not manifest through motion. You manifest through meaning, through frequency, through intention, through alignment. It's not the speed of your steps. It's the steadiness of your soul. You are allowed to slow down. You are allowed to receive without chasing. You are allowed to believe without begging. Say this: I am not here to force what is mine. I am here to flow into it. I am here to remember it. I am here to realign with what the divine has already spoken over me. And the divine never lies. The divine never withholds. It only waits for you to come into resonance with your own truth. It waits for you to stop searching and start seeing. Start seeing the signs. Start seeing the patterns. Start seeing that nothing is random. That delay is not denial. That rejection is redirection. That silence is sacred space. Sacred space for your alignment. Every no was a whisper saying, not this, not yet. Every closed door was grace in disguise. Because sometimes what you chase is not what you truly need, but what you align with. That's what you were created for. There is no limit in divine law. There is only alignment or misalignment. When you feel anxious, you're misaligned. When you feel desperate, you're misaligned. When you feel abandoned, you're misaligned. But when you feel peace, even in uncertainty, you're in alignment. When you feel gratitude, even before it shows up, you're in alignment. When you feel enough, even without the outcome, you're in alignment. And in alignment, everything flows. Everything finds you. Everything arrives with grace, not grasping. Return to the loop once more. You don't chase what's already yours. You align with it. That's the practice. That's the posture. That's the path. Daily alignment. Moment to moment alignment. And yes, you will fall out of it. But alignment isn't about perfection. It's about returning. Every time you notice the fear and come back to faith, you align. Every time you notice the doubt and choose gratitude, you align. Every time you silence the noise and listen within, you align. That's power. That's practice. That's presence. So walk forward now. Not in pursuit, but in peace. You're not looking for it. You're letting it find you. You're not grabbing at it. You're growing into it. That is the beauty of alignment. It transforms waiting into preparing. It transforms lack into readiness. It transforms wishing into receiving. And that transformation, it begins with one sacred decision: I will no longer chase. I will trust. I will no longer hustle. I will harmonize. I will no longer seek what's outside. I will awaken what is already within. And what is within me is enough. Pause, breathe, align. Speak it again until every cell knows what is mine is already moving toward me. I don't chase, I align, I don't run. I rest in divine timing. I don't push, I prepare. And as I prepare, I rise. As I rise, I receive. As I receive, I remember. I was never without it. I was simply becoming the version of me who could hold it, honor it, and live in it. Because manifestation is not about getting, it's about remembering. Remembering that what you seek is already yours, and your only job is to say yes. Not with words, but with your entire energy field. This is the frequency of flow. This is the rhythm of receivership. This is the truth of who you are. There is a turning point in every soul's journey where the chase becomes too heavy, where the striving begins to wear thin, and the soul finally whispers, there must be another way. And that whisper is not a weakness. It is a beginning, a sacred return, a soft unfolding of the truth that was always yours. You were never meant to chase. You were born to receive. The world taught you motion. The spirit teaches you stillness. The world trained you in hustle. The divine calls you into harmony. And what you seek most is not waiting at the end of a long road. It's waiting behind a surrendered heart. You don't chase what's already yours. You align with it. That truth isn't meant to be inspiring alone. It's meant to be embodied. An embodiment takes courage. Because when you choose alignment over action, the world may not applaud you. The world may not even understand. But the universe responds. The moment you choose peace over panic, the current shifts. The moment you choose to trust without tangible proof, something invisible begins to move in your favor. Something sacred begins to shape your future. Because alignment is more than energy. It is agreement. It is you saying, yes, with your entire being. Yes, to your worth. To divine timing. Yes, to what is already yours by birthright. You see, everything responds to your yes. But your yes must be pure. It cannot be mixed with fear. It cannot be wrapped in doubt. It cannot be coated with anxiety. It must be clear, calm, and confident. That is how you align. That is how you become the magnetic field that draws in what you no longer need to chase. Think of a seed. The seed does not chase the tree it will become. It simply aligns. It remains in stillness, in surrender, trusting the soil, the sunlight, the season. And in time, not pressure, not panic, it rises, and so will you. Not because you forced it, but because you stopped running and you started allowing. Let's loop again. You don't chase what's already yours. You align with it. This truth will keep repeating until you live it. And when you live it, everything changes. No more performing, no more proving, no more pretending. You begin to walk in certainty. Not because you see it, but because you've already received it in your spirit. And when it lands in your spirit first, the world cannot stop its manifestation. The external must match the internal. This is not positive thinking. This is spiritual alignment. And alignment always produces reality. Every time you affirm, it is already mine, you're not making a wish, you're speaking law. Divine law. And the law does not change. The law does not lie. The law does not expire. It simply reflects. And what does it reflect? What you are in harmony with. What you are in integrity with. What you are in alignment with. That's why your work is not to chase. Your work is to become. Become the one who already has it. Become the one who already lives in peace. Become the one who does not flinch at delay because she knows delay is part of design. The design is perfect. Your alignment reveals that perfection. Alignment is not something you earn. It is something you allow. And in allowing, you rise. In allowing, you soften. In allowing, you remember who you were before fear made you forget. This remembrance is your power. This is your homecoming. You don't need to add more to yourself. You need to release what was never yours to begin with. Release the anxiety. Release the urgency. Release the belief that it has to be hard, that it has to be painful, that you must suffer to receive. That is not divine law. That is a human illusion. And it's time to break that illusion. True receiving is not a reward for effort. It is a response to alignment. You don't chase what's already yours. You don't run toward it in panic. You become still in knowing. And the moment you remember who you are, the moment you drop the mask of desperation and wear the crown of worth, the universe rearranges itself on your behalf. Because energy never lies. Energy always mirrors. If you embody fullness, life brings more. If you embody lack, life reflects lack. That's not punishment. That's precision. That's law. That's why your inner work is not optional. It is foundational. Pause. Breathe. Feel the loop again. You don't chase what's already yours. You align with it. Keep this close. Tattoo it on your thoughts. Let it hum beneath your heartbeat. When you wake up, whisper it. When you start doubting, return to it. When you feel the old patterns of fear trying to pull you back into striving, gently remind yourself. The work is not to chase. The work is to become, to embody, to radiate. Because what you radiate, you attract. You were never meant to beg for what belongs to you. You were never meant to struggle for what was written in your name before you took your first breath. The soul does not chase, the soul remembers. And in remembering, it rises. This is the power of alignment. It does not shout. It does not demand. It whispers. It welcomes. It receives. And every time you return to this state, you open the floodgates, not because you did more, but because you aligned more. The river doesn't run because it pushes. It runs because it flows, and so must you. The magnetic ones are not always the loudest. They are the clearest. The ones who know what's theirs without needing to grasp at it. The ones who walk in rooms and shift energy not because they're trying, but because they're aligned. Aligned with peace. Aligned with power. Aligned with purpose. You don't chase, you align. And that alignment becomes your permission slip. Your permission to be, to rest, to trust, and to expect without apology. Expectancy is not arrogance. It is faith in motion. Let this be the moment you stop waiting to be chosen and start choosing yourself. Let this be the breath where you stop chasing and start aligning. You were never out of reach of what's meant for you. You were simply out of resonance. And all that's ever been asked of you is to come back into tune. Not to fight, not to beg, not to fear, but to align. To come into the stillness of knowing that what is divine cannot be denied. What is yours by spiritual law cannot be blocked by human doubt. The world has taught you that more effort means more reward. But the universe whispers a deeper truth. The reward is in the surrender. The peace is in the alignment. The miracles are in the moment you stop asking how long and start declaring "It is done." This isn't fantasy. This is frequency. You attract not what you plead for, but what you prepare for. And preparation happens in the spirit, not in the panic. Feel the loop beginning. You don't chase what's already yours. You align with it. Again and again. Until your nervous system believes it, until your energy speaks it louder than your words, until your presence becomes a portal to everything you once thought was out of reach. You are not behind. You are not too late. You're not broken. You are returning, and your return is your rise. So breathe deeper, walk softer, speak kinder, expect more, align more. Every thought is a signal. Every belief is a magnet. Every feeling is a declaration. You are not asking life to give you something you don't deserve. You are asking life to reflect what you now embody. And when you embody peace, life will meet you with peace. When you embody worth, doors will open without you knocking. When you embody trust, timing becomes your friend, not your enemy. The chase ends here. The alignment begins now. You are not meant to spend your life exhausted from trying to prove your value. You are meant to walk as if it's already done. Because in divine law, it already is. Let that be your truth. Let that be your fire. Let that be your foundation. The universe is listening, not to your begging, but to your being. Be the one who knows. Be the one who trusts. Be the one who aligns. And so I say unto you, stop running toward what is already within inward. Rise upward. Speak faithfully. Act boldly. Love endlessly. Align with what you desire, and it will align with you. You don't chase what's already yours. You align with it. And once you do, you become unstoppable, unshakable, unmistakable. You become what you were always meant to be. The living proof that manifestation isn't pursuit, it's permission. There is no resistance in divine order. When you surrender to it, life stops being a struggle and starts becoming a rhythm. And rhythm is alignment in motion. The universe was never chaotic. It only appears chaotic when we resist the natural rhythm of our own becoming. But when you release the urge to interfere, to rush, to grasp, you allow yourself to be carried. And what a sacred thing it is to be carried by the unseen, by the current of faith, the tide of surrender, the wave of knowing. You don't chase the wave, you become still enough to catch it. And once you ride it, you realize you never needed to fight the sea. You needed to float. The moment you choose flow over force, you activate miracles. And miracles aren't rare. They're just unblocked alignment. They're what happens when your soul gets out of its own way. So speak this softly, but with certainty. I do not chase. I attract. I do not push. I receive. I do not beg. I believe. These are not just affirmations. They are instructions to your energy. Instructions to remind you that you are not in a war with the universe. You are in a dance with it. And the more graceful your steps, the more beautiful the return. Every desire you've ever held in your heart is not a fantasy. It's a divine signal. It was placed within you not to tease you, but to teach you. Teach you how to trust. Teach you how to align. Teach you how to become the vessel for the very thing you've been waiting for. You don't receive by proving your worth. You receive by remembering it. You receive by standing in the knowing that what is for you will never miss you, and what misses you was never meant to stay. You receive by letting go of timelines, of deadlines, of pressure, because nothing of true spiritual value is rushed. It is only revealed to those still enough to notice. So let's return to this truth once more. You don't chase what's already yours. You align with it. You become it. You feel it. You speak from it. You embody it long before it arrives. And that embodiment is not pretending. It's preparing. Preparing your heart to hold it. Preparing your mind to welcome it. Preparing your soul to celebrate it. And the more you embody it now, the more natural it will feel when it comes. Because by then, you won't be surprised. You'll be synchronized. That's the beauty of alignment. It always feels familiar. It always feels like home. Because you're not trying to become someone else. You're returning to your truest self. And your truest self is already worthy, already magnetic, already connected to every dream, every blessing, every healing, every joy. You are not earning your way into alignment. You are remembering your way back to it. And the more you remember who you truly are, the less you'll try to prove, to push, or to plead. Let go of urgency. Urgency is the enemy of flow. You do not need to rush what eternity has already secured for you. If you knew how safe you truly were, how protected your path really is, you wouldn't worry about when it's coming. You would simply make space for it. So make space now. Clear out the noise. Detangle from doubt. Lay down the fear that tells you it's too late. It's never too late in divine timing. What's yours isn't just on its way. It's arriving as fast as you are ready to receive. This is the inner work of alignment. To shift from asking to allowing, from waiting to welcoming, from force to flow. And this shift begins with your state of being, not your schedule of doing. You are not behind. You are not blocked. You are not forgotten. You are becoming. You are opening. You are allowing. And every step of surrender places you in perfect position for what you desire to find you with ease. Not because you chased it, but because you aligned with it. Now pause and listen. Listen to the silence that surrounds this moment. In that silence lives your power, not because you filled it, but because you made room for it. Power is not loud. Power is not noisy. Power is peaceful. Power is knowing. And you are powerful the moment you stop trying to chase and start choosing to trust. Trust doesn't make you weak. It makes you magnetic. It pulls to you what effort alone cannot. It places you on paths you didn't see coming but were always meant to walk. Repeat this to yourself gently. I trust the process. I trust the timing. I trust myself. I trust the source that created me. I trust that what I want wants me too. I trust that alignment is not something I force. It's something I remember. And I remember it each time I return to stillness. Each time I breathe instead of panic. Each time I affirm instead of doubt. Each time I release instead of chase. You don't chase what's already yours. You invite it through alignment. And alignment is not a one-time event. It's a lifestyle, a devotion, a daily choice to return to center. To speak in alignment, think in alignment, feel in alignment. Not just when things are going well, but especially when they're not. Alignment is not tested in ease. It's proven in uncertainty. And in those moments, your task is not to perform. Your task is to anchor. Anchor yourself in faith, not fear. In flow, not frenzy. In surrender, not striving. And when you do, when you anchor deeply enough, you become unshakable. Not because storms don't come, but because you no longer get swept away by them. You know how to float now. You've learned the sacred art of receiving. You've remembered that what's meant for you has been circling you all along. Just waiting for you to lift your vibration and open your arms. It's not coming because you earned it. It's coming because you aligned with it. So now, beautiful soul, the invitation is simple. Stop running, stop forcing, stop doubting, and begin aligning. Align through gratitude, align through rest, align through joy, align through silence, align through presence, align through surrender, because what you want already exists. And your job is not to find it, but to allow it. Let yourself receive. Let yourself soften. Let yourself become the version of you that no longer questions if it's coming, because you know, with quiet certainty, that it's already yours. And that is where the real power lies, not in the chase, but in the stillness, in the certainty, in the deep, unwavering knowing that alignment is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, the spiritual and the physical, the desire and the delivery. And you are the bridge, you are the portal, you are the open door through which the blessings flow. You don't chase what's already yours. You align with it. You don't chase the divine. You become the space where the divine meets you. And that is more than enough. There is a sacred stillness in knowing. When you truly know that what is divinely yours is already assigned to you by the infinite plan, you stop the scramble. You stop the fear. You stop the tug of war with time. Because you no longer believe it's somewhere out of reach. You understand it is already waiting in the wings, prepared to enter your life the moment you clear the stage. And clearing the stage doesn't mean fixing everything or becoming someone else. It means surrendering. It means unclenching. It means stepping out of resistance and stepping into remembrance. You remember who you are, a divine being wrapped in infinite supply, walking in a body but operating through spirit. And spirit does not chase, spirit creates, spirit aligns, spirit speaks things into being, not by force but by flow. The world will tell you hustle harder, but heaven whispers believe deeper. The world shouts push, strive, grab, but your soul knows what is mine is making its way to me as I prepare to receive it. That is the truth you must live in. The vibration of readiness is a magnet to miracles, but you can't fake it. You must feel it. You must become it. When you act as if your good is already here, you collapse the space between desire and delivery. You dissolve the illusion of separation. Because the only thing that ever delayed your manifestation was the story you told yourself about being unworthy, unready, or unseen. Those stories were never true. They were distractions from the divine knowing that you were always worthy, already ready, and forever seen by the source that created you. So pause here and feel this. You don't chase what's yours. You clear the static and allow it in. You don't knock down doors. You realize the door was always open. You don't run after love, money's, purpose. You become the space where love dwells, where wealth flows, where peace rests, where purpose lands. You become the vibration that matches the vision. And when you do that, you don't just receive, you overflow. You bless, you magnetize, you inspire, you radiate. Because the moment you align, you step into a river that was always moving in your favor. Alignment is not something you achieve once. It's something you return to, moment after moment, breath after breath, belief after belief. The more you trust, the more you flow. The more you release, the more you rise. The more you believe, the more you become. And this becoming is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering the version of you who never doubted the divine orchestration of her life. The version of you who never begged, because she knew all things were already hers. The version of you who never questioned her worthiness, because she knew she was born of source. That version of you is still here. Call her forward. Let her lead. She knows that alignment is the path, and the path is always open. So how do you align? You align with your words. Speak only what supports the reality you want to live. Speak not from your fear, but from your faith. You align with your feelings. Feel the feelings of peace, of ease, of joy. Even if the outer world hasn't caught up yet. Because your feelings are your frequency, and your frequency is your forecast. You align with your focus. Look not at what is missing, but at what is already present. Look not at delay, but at divine timing. You align with your decisions. Make decisions from the place where you already are who you wish to be. Don't wait to be her. Be her now. Dress like her. Walk like her. Breathe like her. Speak like her. Think like her. You are not faking it. You are folding time into the now. The loop is simple and eternal. What you believe, you align with. What you align with, you attract. What you attract, you receive. And what you receive, you bless. That's the full circle. That's divine manifestation. But if you skip the belief, the alignment breaks. If you skip the feeling, the magnet weakens. If you skip the gratitude, the blessing halts. So feel it all. Believe it all. Give thanks for it all. Speak life over your life until your life becomes the echo of your truth. There is no power in panic. There is no magic in chasing. The power is in presence. The magic is in trust. This is where true alignment begins. And the call to action is eternal return to your knowing. Return to your breath. Return to your center. Every time you drift, return. Every time you doubt, return. Every time you forget, return. Because you don't chase what's already yours. You don't beg for what is your birthright. You don't plead for what has already been promised. You simply align. You align with your peace. You align with your power. You align with the part of you that has never been afraid. And from that place, you don't attract. Miracles find you on their own. And let me remind you again, alignment is not effort in disguise. It is not struggle wearing a new outfit. It is the sacred release of all struggle. It is stillness in the middle of chaos. It is calm in the middle of storm. It is faith in the middle of doubt. You do not align by becoming more, doing more, or proving more. You align by allowing, by softening, by letting go of your white-knuckled grip on how and when, who and why. You align by trusting the divine plan, even when the details are invisible to your eyes. Especially then. Because true faith begins where logic ends. You don't need to figure it out. That's not your job. Your job is to remember that it's already figured out. That the path you seek is already paved, but it can only be seen through eyes of surrender. When you are tangled in fear, all doors look locked. But when you are anchored in faith, even walls begin to open. That is the magic of spiritual alignment. It doesn't always change your world immediately, but it changes your eyes. It changes how you see. And once you see differently, you live differently. You speak differently. You move differently. You become a living affirmation of your highest truth. I do not chase, I attract. I do not beg, I believe. I do not grasp, I open. I do not fear, I know. And this knowing doesn't come from the world. The world teaches confusion, doubt, delay. But the spirit within you teaches remembrance. The spirit within you says, everything you seek is already seeking you. Not just in concept, not just as comfort, but as reality. There is a timeline where your desires already exist. Your alignment is what brings that timeline closer. And you do this by becoming a vibrational match for the version of yourself who already has it. That version of you already walks with confidence, already speaks with conviction, already moves with grace. So step into her. Step into the woman who already knows it's done, who already feels it unfolding, who already acts as if the universe is arranging things in her favor. Because it is. You are not behind. You are not late. Delay is not denial, it's divine preparation. And when you truly trust divine preparation, you stop measuring your progress by what you see and start measuring it by what you know. And what you know is this: what belongs to you is making its way to you now. You don't have to beg for it. You don't have to compete for it. You don't even have to understand it. You simply have to trust the truth that every blessing has your name on it. That the universe is not stingy. That spirit is not withholding. That source is not cruel. The love, the purpose, the abundance, the peace. It's all part of your soul's contract. And what's written for you will never miss you, unless you decide not to receive it. And how do we block our receiving? Through fear, through doubt, through unworthiness, through words we repeat that go against our good. But here's the power. You can flip that any moment. Right now even. You can shift your vibration from fear to faith, from lack to abundance, from waiting to welcoming. It starts with a declaration.
Say it now.
I do not chase what is mine. I welcome it. I become it. I align with it. Say it again. Say it every day. Say it until your cells memorize it. Say it until your life starts to reflect it. Because words are not just sounds. They are spells. And when you speak with intention, you send a signal to the universe: I'm ready. I trust. I align. Let me say this to you again, because repetition is power. You are not here to chase your blessings. You are here to clear the way for them. You are not here to climb ladders. You are here to remove ceilings. You are not here to hustle your worth. You are here to remember it. And you remember it through stillness, through gratitude, through sacred expectancy, through radical trust. You remember it by watching nature. The river does not strain to flow. The sun does not rush to rise. The flowers do not beg to bloom. They simply align with the cycle they were created for. And so do you. There is no chasing in nature, only blooming, only flowing, only allowing. You are a part of that divine rhythm. You are not separate from the source that created the stars. So stop believing you need to suffer to receive. Stop believing you need to perform to be worthy. Stop believing you have to beg to be blessed. That was never the divine plan. That was man's plan. And it's time to step out of man's plan and into God's truth. And the truth is these: your desire is not random. It is revelation. It is confirmation. What you want is already yours in the spiritual realm. You are not imagining things. You are remembering things. You are seeing with the eyes of the soul. That's why it feels so real. That's why you cry for it. That's why you dream about it. Because somewhere inside you know it already exists. You've just been asked to trust the process that makes it visible. You've just been asked to hold the frequency long enough for the form to appear. So hold it. Hold the vision. Hold the faith. Hold the belief that your good is already here, already on the way, already at the door. Don't open the door with worry. Open it with wonder. Open it with worship. Open it with wide eyes and an open heart. Because the moment you release the chase, you welcome the blessing. The moment you stop running, what is meant for you catches up. And you finally realize, it was never running away from you. It was simply waiting for you to slow down and receive. This is not passive. This is powerful. Receiving is not weak. It is wise. It means you've moved beyond fear and into fullness. It means you've stopped doubting and started declaring. It means you've remembered that the chase was always an illusion. And the alignment was always the answer. So let today be the day you choose alignment over anxiety. Let today be the day you release the old story of not being ready, not being enough, not being chosen. You are chosen. You are enough. You are ready, not because of what you've done, but because of who you are. And who you are is an extension of the divine. You are a magnet for miracles. You are a vessel for favor. You are a receiver of abundance. You are a lighthouse for love. So shine, align, and let the life that is already yours unfold. You've come so far. And still, your soul keeps whispering, there's more. Not more to chase, but more to become. Not more to prove, but more to align with. Because your highest good is not somewhere outside of you, waiting to be found. It is already woven into your spiritual DNA. You are not looking for a miracle. You are the miracle, awakening to itself. And when you begin to live from that place, when you breathe with that awareness, you stop measuring your life by delays and disappointments. And you start recognizing them as divine redirections. You start seeing every no, not as a rejection, but as protection. You start understanding that when something doesn't flow, it's not punishment. It's guidance. It's the hand of the divine, lovingly shifting your course. Because what's really yours is never fragile, never dependent on force, and never taken away by delay. Nothing can block what is divinely yours. Not time, not people, not fear, not even your own past. Because the grace of God is not bound by your history, it's only activated by your faith. So yes, your fear may argue, your logic may resist, your old stories may rise again and try to convince you that what you want is too far, too late, too good to be true. But listening, your spirit already knows it's done. Your spirit already feels the shift. Your spirit already recognizes the timeline where your desires exist. And you align with that timeline not by striving, but by surrendering. Not by pushing harder, but by believing deeper. You receive what's yours not by deserving more, but by knowing it's already done. Because faith is not passive. Faith is not wishful thinking. Faith is spiritual certainty. It's the frequency of someone who says, I no longer panic. I prepare. I no longer chase. I receive. I no longer fight. I flow. And this is your reminder you are allowed to flow now. You are allowed to rest in knowing. You are allowed to trust that the current is moving in your favor. Even when you don't see it. Especially when you don't see it. That's when faith grows strongest. Not when the way is clear, but when it's hidden. Not when all doors are open, but when they seem locked and silent. Because the truth is, nothing divine requires constant proof. Nothing divine needs constant validation. And the dreams that live in your heart are divine. Planted not by ego, but by spirit. You're not wrong to want more. You're not wrong to believe in better. You're simply awakening to the version of yourself that already has it. And she's waiting for you. Not in the future. Someday, she's waiting for you now, in this very breath. So take a breath. Deeper this time. Let your shoulders drop. Let your heart open. Let your resistance melt like morning fog. You don't need to know how it'll unfold. You just need to know that it will. Your only job is alignment. Your only task is to stay open. Your only responsibility is to keep showing up in the vibration of yes. Yes to what you asked for. Yes to what you prayed for. Yes to the miracles that are already written in your name. And if you doubt that they're written for you, look at your life. Not through the lens of what's missing, but through the lens of what's still standing. You've survived too much to be abandoned now. You've cried too many sacred tears to be forgotten now. You've kept going when everything said stop. That's grace. And grace is the evidence that something greater is guiding your path. So yes, the path has twists. Yes, the timing may confuse you. But let me remind you, a giving timing is not delay. It's divine choreography. It's the beautiful unfolding that happens when you stop rushing and start trusting. And the more you trust, the more doors open. Not because you forced them, but because they were always meant to. So stop fighting what's already aligned. Stop doubting what's already yours. Stop shrinking in rooms that were designed for your expansion. You were never created to dim. You were never created to beg. You were never created to watch everyone else rise while you remain stuck in self-doubt. That is not your portion. That is not your future. That is not your truth. Your truth is you are divinely backed. You are divinely held. You are divinely watched over. And that is why nothing can block what is divinely yours. Even if you've doubted. Even if you've delayed. Even if you've disconnected from the vision and forgotten how to believe again. The moment you choose alignment, the moment you return to trust, the door opens again. Because grace doesn't expire. Favor doesn't expire. Divine promises don't get canceled just because you forgot them for a season. They are still there. Still wait years. So walk boldly. Declare loudly, I trust the timing of my life. I don't rush what God is preparing. I release what blocks my blessings. I receive what's divinely mine. I align, I align, I align. Say it until it becomes your new default, until it echoes louder than your fear, until your inner dialogue sounds like peace, not panic. Because peace is the true indicator of alignment. You don't need to see everything coming together. You just need to feel the peace that says, it is. Let your peace be the confirmation. Let your joy be the magnet. Let your rest be the revolution. Because in a world that idolizes hustle and struggle, rest is sacred rebellion, trust is divine power, and alignment is your spiritual inheritance. And when you live in alignment with your source, no closed door, no rejection, no delay, no detour can ever cancel what's meant for you. So say it one more time. Louder now, nothing can block what is divinely mine. I align, I receive, I become. And now that you've started to remember, now that your heart has softened to the truth again, feel the shift inside you. That gentle but unstoppable shift from fear to faith, from resistance to allowance, from survival to creation. Because you are no longer waiting for things outside you to give you permission to rise. You are rising because it is your time. It's your time to trust yourself again. Your time to stop rehearsing failure and begin rehearsing receiving. Your time to hold your head high. Not because life is perfect, but because your faith is. And faith is not a feeling, it's a frequency. A posture. A vibration that says, I belong in rooms I used to shrink in. I walk into timelines I once thought were out of reach. I declare what's mine before it arrives. You're no longer asking if you're worthy. You're no longer waiting for proof. You know that what is divinely yours is not earned by over-affording. It's received through alignment. So align, again and again, even when it feels small, even when it looks invisible. Because alignment doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it's quiet, a choice to let go. A breath before the breakthrough, a whisper of, still believe. And let me remind you, even when you doubt, even when your belief shakes, the divine doesn't let go of you, ever. The hand that holds you is eternal. The source that carries you does not change with your circumstances. So if you've wandered, you can return. If you've paused, you can begin again. If you've fallen, you can rise again. Because what's divinely yours will wait for you. It doesn't expire. It doesn't resent the delay. It simply holds space for your remembering. And here's the truth, most people forgetting your success isn't about doing more. It's about being more aligned. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. So ask yourself gently, who am I being right now? Am I being the version of me who already has peace, or the one still chasing it? Am I embodying my highest vision, or still living in my old programming? The version of you that has what you prayed for isn't overwhelmed, isn't shrinking, isn't doubting. She is grounded, she is present, she is soft, yet powerful, and she doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. Because she knows she is chosen, not for her perfection, but for her alignment. You were always meant to remember this power. You were always meant to live from it, to walk into every day as if the entire universe is conspiring in your favor. Because it is. To speak your desires without shame, to trust the unseen more than the noise around you, to hold your head high, not because you've never fallen, but because you've risen again and again. So rise once more, rise in thought, rise in vibration, rise in faith, and declare again, from your spirit, not your ego, that nothing can block what is divinely yours. Let those words become your compass. Let them shape your day. Let them soften your heart and sharpen your clarity, because this is not just a mantra. It's a law, a divine law, the law that says what is yours is held in grace until you are ready to receive it. The law that says no one can take what was written for your soul, and that's why you don't need to compete. You don't need to fight. You don't need to force your way into what's already yours. You only need to align. And when you do, oh, how quickly the path clears, how gently the support comes, how beautifully life begins to rearrange to meet you at your new frequency. So breathe again, deeper this time. This is your becoming. This is your remembering. This is your return to the truth. You are not blocked. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are blooming. You aligned. You are rising. And nothing can stop it now. Nothing can block what is divinely yours. Not even you. Not anymore.